Hey there, welcome back to Story Slices, where we slice through the best Reddit tales just for you. Let's dive right into the first story. The first one is the Tittle story, and it starts like this. Let me start by saying that I never thought I'd be writing about something like this, but the sheer entitlement of some people never ceases to amaze me. This all started about 8 months ago when I bought my dream house, a beautiful colonial-style home on a corner lot in a quiet suburban neighborhood. Well, it was supposed to be quiet anyway. The house sits between two parallel streets, with my yard creating what could technically be a shortcut between them. The previous owners had never fenced the property, leaving it open. At first, I didn't think much of occasional cars cutting through my yard to avoid going around the block, but things quickly escalated from an occasional shortcut to a major thoroughfare through my property. You see, about 2 months after I moved in, the city started major road work on Main Street, the primary route most people used to get to the shopping center and business district. This turned my yard into an unofficial detour for impatient drivers wanting to shave a few minutes off their commute. It started with maybe 2 to 3 cars per day, but within weeks, I was seeing 20 to 30 vehicles daily driving right across my lawn. They created deep tire tracks, killed my grass, and showed absolutely zero regard for my property. I'd watch in disbelief as people would casually drive through as if my yard was a public road. The final straw came one rainy morning when I was having coffee on my porch. A red SUV came barreling through my yard at probably 25 miles per hour, spraying mud everywhere and nearly hitting my dog who was out doing his business. The driver had the audacity to honk at my dog like he was the one in the wrong. I immediately called my insurance agent to discuss liability concerns and then started getting quotes for fencing. The estimates weren't cheap. We're talking about nearly $15,000 for a proper fence around the entire property. But given the liability risks and property damage, I felt I had no choice. I hired a reputable fencing company and scheduled the installation for the following week. The day before work was set to begin, I posted clearly visible, no trespassing signs, and private property, fence installation beginning tomorrow notices around the perimeter of my yard. The reaction was immediate. That evening, a woman in a white Tesla pulled up and started yelling at me from her car. "Hey, are you the owner? You can't block this off. People need to get through here," she shouted. I walked over calmly. "Yes, I'm the owner. This is private property, not a public road. The fence installation starts tomorrow. But everyone uses this as a cut-through. It's been open for years. You can't just close it off," she argued. "Actually, I can. It's my property," I replied firmly. "Do you know how much longer my commute will be? This is ridiculous. I'm going to report you to the city," she threatened before speeding off, right across my yard one last time. The next morning, the fencing crew arrived early to begin work. Within an hour, 3 different people had stopped to complain. One man in a business suit was particularly aggressive. "You're causing a major inconvenience to the whole neighborhood. People have been using this route for years," he yelled. "Sir, this is private property. There's never been an easement or right-of-way here. The previous owners simply didn't fence their yard," I explained. "Well, they were better neighbors than you. I'm an attorney, and I'll be looking into this. You can't just cut off an established route that people rely on." I smiled. "Please do look into it. I've already confirmed with my own attorney that I'm well within my rights to fence my private property." He stormed off, but that was just the beginning. Over the next 3 days as the fence went up, I had dozens of confrontations with angry drivers. Some tried to argue that there was a prescriptive easement. There wasn't. I'd checked carefully before buying. Others claimed it was illegal to block an established public route. It wasn't. A few even threatened to damage the fence once it was up. I installed security cameras covering every angle of the property and made sure to document all interactions. I had a feeling I'd need evidence if things escalated. The fence was completed on a Friday afternoon, a beautiful 6-foot privacy fence with secure gates and proper footings. I felt relieved knowing my property was finally protected, but the drama was far from over. That weekend, a group of neighbors organized a community meeting at the local library to discuss the disruption to neighborhood traffic patterns. I received an anonymous note in my mailbox strongly suggesting I attend to address residents' concerns. I decided to go, bringing copies of my property survey, deed, and relevant local ordinances, along with my attorney on speed dial. About 30 people showed up, including Tesla lady and lawyer man from earlier in the week. A self-appointed spokesperson named Karen, yes, really, opened the meeting. "We're here to discuss the inconsiderate actions of our new neighbor who has disrupted decades of established traffic flow through our community." I raised my hand. "You mean the illegal trespassing across private property that was damaging my lawn and creating serious liability issues?" "It's not trespassing if it's been used as a route for years," someone shouted. My phone buzzed, a notification from my security cameras. I checked the feed to see two teenagers attempting to climb my new fence. I excused myself and called the police before heading home. The responding officer was very understanding. The teens were caught before they could damage anything, and their parents were mortified when they arrived. I decided not to press charges but made it clear that future attempts would be handled differently. The next morning, I woke up to find flyers on every door in the neighborhood claiming I was destroying community access and endangering children by forcing cars to take longer routes to school. The flyer conveniently ignored the fact that children could still walk through the public sidewalks around my property safely, probably more safely now without cars cutting through. Things escalated when someone started a neighborhood Facebook group dedicated to pressuring me to restore access. They posted my name, address, and workplace, encouraging people to contact my employer about what a terrible neighbor I was. Fortunately, my boss found the whole situation ridiculous and fully supported me. The turning point came about 2 weeks after the fence went up. I was working in my home office when I heard a loud crash. I checked my security cameras to see a silver BMW had attempted to ram through one of my fence panels. The driver fled, but not before my cameras caught their license plate. I called the police immediately and provided the footage. The driver turned out to be the wife of one of the most vocal protesters, the same lawyer who had threatened legal action. She was arrested for vandalism and reckless driving. This incident changed the whole dynamic. Suddenly, the concerned neighbors group went quiet. The Facebook page disappeared. The anonymous notes stopped. People realized I wasn't going to back down, and their tactics had crossed a line. But the story doesn't end there. About a month later, I received a certified letter from the city. Apparently, some neighbors had filed a formal complaint claiming my fence violated local ordinances. They demanded an inspection. I welcomed the city inspector with open arms, providing copies of all my permits and approvals. He confirmed everything was up to code and actually complimented the quality of the installation. The complainers had no leg to stand on. Then came the lawsuit. Lawyer man, still smarting from his wife's arrest, filed a civil suit claiming prescriptive easement and adverse possession based on the historical use of my property as a cut-through. He represented a group of neighbors who claimed damages from increased commute times. My attorney was practically gleeful when she read the complaint. "This is frivolous, and they know it," she said. "The previous owners had given no explicit permission for crossing their property, and you blocked access within months of purchasing. There's no prescriptive easement here." She filed a motion to dismiss and requested sanctions against the attorney for filing a frivolous lawsuit. The judge agreed, dismissing the case with prejudice and ordering the plaintiffs to pay my legal fees. The final attempt at retaliation came during the first snowfall of winter. I woke up to find someone had piled all the plowed snow from the street against my gates. It was clearly intentional. The rest of the street was clear. I checked my cameras and caught the plow driver taking payment from none other than Tesla lady to deliberately block my gates. I sent the footage to the plowing company and filed a complaint with the city, as the plow was a city contractor. The driver was fired, the company apologized profusely, and Tesla lady received a hefty fine for interfering with snow removal operations. The city also installed no-through traffic signs at both ends of my street to prevent confusion for newcomers to the area. It's been 6 months since the fence went up, and things have finally calmed down. The entitled drivers have found new routes, my lawn has recovered, and my dog can safely play in the yard. Some neighbors still give me dirty looks, but most have moved on. The funny thing is, I've actually had several other homeowners in the neighborhood thank me privately. Apparently, the cut-through traffic had been bothering many people, but no one wanted to be the bad guy who stopped it. My actions encouraged 2 other corner lot owners to fence their properties as well, further reducing unwanted traffic in residential areas. Last week, I overheard someone at the local coffee shop complaining about their commute time. "It used to be so much faster when we could cut through that yard," they said. "You mean when you could trespass on private property?" Their friend replied. "Yeah, those were the days." I smiled into my coffee cup. Sometimes standing your ground isn't popular, but it's worth it. My property values have actually increased since installing the fence, and I've had zero liability issues or property damage. The entitled drivers can take the long way around, just like everyone else. As a positive footnote, I've started hosting monthly neighborhood cookouts in my now private backyard. Many of the reasonable neighbors attend, and we've built some great relationships. Even a few of the former cut-through drivers have apologized and become friends. Sometimes it takes standing firm on principles to earn respect. The whole experience taught me valuable lessons about property rights, standing up to entitled behavior, and the importance of proper documentation and security measures. It also showed me that while some people will never admit they're wrong, most will eventually accept reality when faced with firm boundaries, both literal and metaphorical. These days, my corner lot is peaceful and private. The grass is green, the fence is strong, and my dog enjoys his yard without dodging traffic. Sometimes the best revenge against entitled people is simply refusing to give in to their demands and letting them face the consequences of their own actions. Oh, and Lawyer Man. He moved away last month. Rumor has it he had trouble finding clients after the sanctioned lawsuit made local legal news. I guess karma has a way of working things out. The end. Update. It's been exactly 1 year since my last post, and quite a few people have asked me for an update on the fence situation. A lot has happened, so I thought I'd share how everything turned out. First, remember Tesla lady who organized most of the opposition against my fence? Well, she finally got what was coming to her. After the snowplow incident, she didn't let up. She kept driving by my house slowly, taking pictures, and trying to find any violation she could report to the city. This went on for months until she made a huge mistake. She decided to start a blog dedicated to exposing how I was supposedly ruining the neighborhood. She posted aerial photos of my property, taken with a drone, which flew right over my yard, along with personal information about me and my daily routines. She even posted pictures of my visitors and tried to shame people who came to my neighborhood cookouts. My attorney advised me that this crossed several legal lines: invasion of privacy, harassment, and potentially stalking. We sent a cease and desist letter, which she ignored. Big mistake. We filed for a restraining order and included all the evidence: her blog posts, security camera footage of her driving by multiple times daily, and witness statements from neighbors who'd seen her behavior. The judge granted the restraining order immediately. She's now legally required to stay 500 feet away from my property and can't post anything about me online. She violated it twice in the first week, both times caught on my cameras, and ended up spending a weekend in jail for contempt of court. After that, she finally got the message and put her house up for sale. Last I heard, she moved to another state. Good riddance. As for Lawyer Man's wife who tried to ram my fence, she ended up pleading guilty to vandalism and reckless driving. The judge ordered her to pay for the damage and complete 100 hours of community service. The irony? Some of her community service hours were spent picking up litter along the very street she used to avoid by cutting through my yard. The neighborhood has completely changed over the past year. Remember those other homeowners who fenced their properties after seeing me stand my ground? That started a trend. Now about half the corner lots in the neighborhood have fences, and property values have gone up by an average of 12% according to our local realtor. The city actually reached out to me last month. They're using our neighborhood as a case study in traffic management. Turns out, all those cars cutting through residential areas were creating safety issues they hadn't properly addressed. They're now installing speed bumps and traffic calming measures on the main roads, and they've optimized the timing of traffic lights to improve flow on the proper routes. Here's the best part. 3 months ago, I got an unexpected letter from one of my strongest opponents during the fence drama. She wrote, "I want to apologize for my behavior last year. I was one of the people who signed the petition against your fence and attended those ridiculous meetings. Looking back, I'm embarrassed by how entitled we all acted. Your property is your property, and we had no right to demand you let us use it as a road. The neighborhood is actually nicer and safer now. My kids can play outside without worrying about cars rushing through yards. I should have supported you from the start." I invited her to my next cookout, and she's now become a good friend. She even helped me start a neighborhood watch program, which has reduced petty crime in the area by 40%. My property has become something of a model for the neighborhood. I've added a beautiful garden along the fence line, and the local gardening club asked to feature it in their annual tour. Those deep tire tracks that used to scar my lawn? They're now flower beds full of native plants that attract butterflies and birds. The entitled drivers who used to cut through? They've all found new routes or adjusted their schedules. A few have actually admitted that the extra 3 minutes on their commute isn't the life-altering catastrophe they made it out to be. Last week, I overheard someone new to the area asking about the fence story at our local coffee shop. The barista pointed me out and said, "That's the homeowner who stood up to the entire neighborhood and won. They showed us all that it's okay to enforce boundaries and protect your property rights." I've learned a lot through this experience. Standing your ground isn't always easy, but it's worth it. When you're in the right, don't let others bully you into giving up your rights just because it's convenient for them. The occasional dirty look from old-timers who still resent the fence is a small price to pay for having my property respected. My house has become my sanctuary, not a thoroughfare for entitled drivers, and that's exactly how it should be. As for Lawyer Man's failed law practice, the State Bar Association launched an investigation into his conduct after our case, focusing on his pattern of filing frivolous lawsuits. He ended up accepting a 1-year suspension of his law license and had to take an ethics course before being reinstated. I hear he's now working as a paralegal in another state. Sometimes I look at the security camera footage from a year ago, all those angry people demanding access to my yard, and I can hardly believe how much has changed. Standing firm against entitled behavior isn't just about protecting your own rights, it can actually improve things for the whole community. To anyone facing similar situations, document everything, know your rights, and don't back down when you're in the right. The entitled people counting on you to cave under pressure are the ones who end up backing down when they realize you won't be bullied. My fence stands as a monument to standing up for what's right, and I couldn't be happier with how everything turned out. The next one is entitled People's Story. I know this is a bit lighter than what this sub is used to, but I don't know who else to tell this to that doesn't know him. Me and my boyfriend have been together for 5 months roughly. For Christmas, one of my gifts was an Xbox. A while back, I was reading something out loud to him from some gaming news site and I mentioned that Ninja makes something like $500,000 a month on Twitch. Since learning this, he has since wanted to become a streamer. Now every time he plays a game, he streams it. I stated in my title that he's trying to become a streamer, but he really isn't trying at all. He's just streaming what's on his screen from his Xbox with no face cam or even a mic. He said to me that he's really shocked he doesn't have many viewers. I tried gently explaining to him that streaming/YouTube is all about your personality to no avail. He's also really camera shy and doesn't even have many pictures of him over the years to the point where his mother gave up on trying to get him into family photos. So I don't understand how being a streamer would even work for him or how he thinks it's a good idea. He also sits very quietly muttering an occasional fuck as he plays video games. The popular streamers he's trying to emulate have natural humor and commentary. And he just doesn't have it, if you know what I mean. He even mentioned that I should start streaming because I'm pretty okay at some games. I laughed it off and said I have no interest. In a past relationship I've been called negative, so I didn't want to just shit all over his parade. For some background, he is in school to be an architect and has a good union job and gets paid pretty well. So it can't just solely be a money thing. This week I was doing errands and he said he was going to go pick up his laundry and the groceries for me to cook dinner before I get there. When I did get there, he was sitting in his room in boxers streaming for no viewers and the laundry/groceries still hadn't been picked up even though it had been 6 or so hours. This really pissed me off, but I didn't say anything. He doesn't usually play video games for that long, but now it's all he does in his spare time. We have a trip to Japan coming up in June and he is now talking about buying equipment for his stream. Expensive equipment. My money for the trip has been put away for a month and he still hasn't started saving for it. I'm afraid that he will spend money on equipment and our trip will go to ruin. The other night he said to me happily that he has one dedicated viewer that watches every time he's on. What he doesn't know is that Twitch counts you as a viewer when you start the stream, so the follower he's talking about is himself. I just really didn't have the heart to tell him because I know how embarrassing that would be. It's become a point of annoyance every time I hear the word streamer. Any advice here? Or should I just let this Twitch stream fizzle out without my input? Update. Some of you may not have been around to read the comments after I posted this. But some more details on the situation that I didn't initially say were posted by me when a Redditor, who has since deleted her comments for the sake of privacy, related to me and explained how her ex was the same way and seemed to have a video game addiction. Her experience eerily mirrored mine. You can read my responses here. Yesterday after work I had to rush home to deal with some family stuff, so I did not get to sit him down and talk to him besides a 5-minute phone call and passing him at work. Today, however, my path was clear and I was determined to speak to him about this. When I woke up and showered, I checked the Xbox app and saw that he was last online 30 minutes ago at 7 a.m. Which means, again, that he did not sleep at all. I didn't contact him. His day off was today, and he called me at 3 p.m. to say that he just woke up. I could hear Overwatch in the background and he asked how my day was going and immediately before I got to respond very angrily said, "Why the fuck won't this guy get off Hanzo? He fucking sucks." I had a client approaching me and swiftly hung up. I called him back after work when I was walking home and I decided to start with small talk before I got to the subject I was leading to. I didn't even have a chance to start off with a small talk before he asked me why I was slightly out of breath. I said it's because I am walking through snow up a hill. He said it's snowing? It snowed heavily for quite a few hours. His place is built that you can't enter the hallway to the kitchen and front door without seeing outside. He didn't even look outside of his window at all today and has spent all day in his bedroom playing video games. This snapped me into asking him if he is planning to do anything else with his life besides play video games. He said of course, just not right now. He had not showered or eaten at all today. I asked, and he admitted it. I asked him if he thought that was healthy and he said with an edge, "What? Playing video games? Of course. Am I fucking smoking meth or something?" I clarified on this and just decided to say it. I said I think he has a problem. The skipping work, not sleeping or eating, and overall the pure amount of hours he dedicates to playing them. He then did what most addicts do, got angry and then spun it back on me. He said that I bought him the Xbox in the first place. What the fuck did you expect me to do with it? And that I've been playing video games long before we were a thing. My Xbox is mostly used as a Netflix machine and to play Overwatch / the Dark Souls trilogy on weekends. I said I do not obsess with them or skip meals to play games and that I would have never bought it for him if I knew what it would lead to. He got angry and asked if I just called to harass him. I said I called to speak to him and let him know my thoughts over the past few months. He said I was crazy, that everyone plays video games. And to whoever said that the streaming was just a decoy and an excuse to play video games all day, you were absolutely right. He feels justified in doing exactly that as long as he tells me that there's a goal to it all. I told him that my mind isn't changed and that I think he has a problem and should speak to someone. He said nothing to this. I then said that I don't feel we have anything more to really speak about and that I can't spend my time worrying about him. I feel like I'm going to get hate for this, but I won't budge on it. He is not my child and I can't force a grown man to eat or go outside. I have done my research and slept on it. Many people PM'd me and commented to tell me their stories of dealing with a loved one with video game addiction or that they were once in his shoes. This is not a battle I want to be in. He is not the person I met last year. He responded to this with a very mellow voice that he knows he's been inattentive and would like a chance to make it up to me. He said he wanted to go on a date tomorrow. I declined and he started rambling about how perfect I am for him. I thought the same once. He kept going and said I'm being ridiculous and starting telling me the things he could be doing instead of playing video games. Such as, I'm not a drinker, I don't cheat, etc. I am sad because before we dated, he really was a good friend. I said that I almost home and have to go. He stayed quiet for a while and said okay. The fact that the video game noises didn't stop during the duration of the entire phone call didn't go unnoticed by me. He only lowered the volume, but not enough. I didn't bring it up because I don't think he would get off even if I asked him to. We hung up and that was that. Luckily, I only see him in passing at work and I will now make sure to not see him at all. It's a huge building. It isn't hard. I would also like to note that I got some very pleasant PMs calling me an absolute bitch for not supporting him in playing video games. That I'm gonna regret everything when he's a famous streamer. Okay. Down to saying that I only care about him skipping work and potentially being fired because I'm in it for his money. I am prepared for more of those messages for now abandoning him. And I am still going to Japan. Are you hungry for more slices of stories? Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell to never miss out on any videos.